Liz and the Bluebird is an incredibly well-crafted film. Audioly, visually, in its characters and theming, it definitely lives up to the high standards Kyoto Animation have set for themselves. And I'm sure you can easily find insight into any number of those elements elsewhere, but allow me to touch on a particular angle that holds great meaning to me on a personal level. I've always felt that Hibike Euphonium is one of the few anime out there that really gets the experience of being a musician, and this new extension of the Euphoverse is no different. The key difference, I think, is that where Euphonium concerned itself deeply with the technicalities of being a musician, I genuinely felt like I've had this conductor. I've experienced that same orchestra drama, that deep struggle towards improvement, and the question of, is it even worth it? Liz elevates its integration of music to a more ethereal, emotional plane. We're immediately cued into this fact by the establishing scene being a visualization of the fairy tale that will run in parallel with Mizore and Nozomi's story over the course of the film's runtime. The earthy tones of euphonium give way to soft pastels and watercolors. Liz blurs this line of the diegetic, our preconceived notion that there is a clear distinction between the music present within their world and the music that only we can hear is played with. The sounds within their world are integrated into the music and vice versa, to the point that it's clear they are not necessarily meant to be perceived as separate entities. The score is percussive and minimalist, almost seeming a pseudo-imitation or even romanticization of the sounds we experience around us on a day-to-day basis. It feels like a part of the world, and Liz plays this aspect up by blending the two together. Cutaways in time with the rhythmic undercurrent, footsteps matched with the music, the sound of their steps blending with the soundtrack as if it were, or rather that it is, an additional instrument. These elements aren't there for every moment, but rather serve as a repeated reminder that the story Liz is trying to tell is less rooted in the physicality of a musical experience. Liz and the Bluebird is very much so a story of parallels. There is a relationship between Mizore and Nozomi that is the driving force behind the story we're presented with, and we see that relationship reflected in the story of Liz and the Bluebird. And bringing these two together, we have their musical side, them both playing solos reflective of the titular duo in a piece based on that story that the concert band they are in is playing. By way of the presentation that I've established earlier, Liz links this musical experience with the emotions of the characters on an intrinsic level. Their performance is a mirror to their deeper emotions. Perhaps even deeper than that, it simply is. There is no feeling of it being a copy or image of truth. Rather, it is a wholehearted expression of it. Throughout Liz is this pervading issue of communication. They struggle to tell each other what they really want, what they really need, to say what must be said but what they are so afraid of saying, to hear and accept what must be heard but that they are so afraid to face. Music steps beyond these boundaries and reflects more accurately than any words could the depth and nuance to their feelings. A particular performance in this movie is specifically emblematic of that, and for that one scene alone, I'd say it's more than worth the price of admission. I have no shame in saying I cried specifically at that moment, where the emotional tension stands at a high point and comes overflowing in this brilliant performance. The power behind music as a lens through which to understand, deal with, shape how we engage with the world around us is profoundly moving. It's something I myself strive to one day realize in others through my own work, that beautiful wordless connection. Whenever I come across it in a work that feels really special, it always leaves me feeling inspired and empowered to push forward in shaping my own path. Perhaps I'm pushing it too personal, but I think the relationship we all share with music is so individual and so universal that it's why works such as this can be so effective. We can participate in this dialogue with the creator through their work, and by way of our own perspective, take away from it something unique to ourselves. What I find interesting about Liz is how much it plays into this very aspect, that it seems to desire to elevate the fairly straightforward narrative to one less concerned with realism and more with emotion, utilizing the inherent advantages of its medium to tell a story about meaningful connection and the bittersweet mix of emotions that come with it. I'm sure some are wondering, well, is it better than Hibike Euphonium? And while I personally would say no, though with the addendum that I absolutely love Hibike and still loved this film as well, I think such a question is misguided because Liz is trying to create a fundamentally different experience and should be viewed, I think, with that in mind. Thanks for watching. This video was made possible by 11 Arts. Check out the links down below for where you can catch this film in theaters. If it wasn't obvious already, I definitely recommend the movie, and don't worry, my appreciation for the film is wholly genuine. If you enjoyed, then leave a like and subscribe, and if you want to help me continue doing what I do, then consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/korereviews. A very special thank you goes to my patron Talon. Also, if you like this video talking about music and anime, you might enjoy something very special coming this December, so look forward to that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.